Two common mistakes that people make that hurt their relationship with their dog. Hi, I'm Rich with Off Grid Dogs, Training and Behavior, and this is Taboo, and we're crazy about you because you love your dog. So, one mistake people make, it's quite common, is called free feeding. Free feeding just means that you're leaving the bowl of kibble out all the time so the dog can access it whenever he wants. And that's, of course, kibble's not a good thing to feed your dog anyway, but regardless, you're missing out on the opportunity for your relationship with your dog to benefit from the fact that he recognizes where the food is coming from. When you free feed and the bowl of kibble's just laying around all day and he can eat it anytime he wants, he takes it for granted and he doesn't even know where it comes from. He doesn't care. To him, it's just my food. That's my food and I can eat it whenever I want. So you lose any value as the provider of that food. A good example of the other end of that would be what my wife does with that beast. She hand feeds him every day, ever since he was 7 weeks old when we got him. So imagine the powerful relationship they have where every piece of food he's ever eaten has her scent on it. And she handed it to him. It went from her hand into his mouth. But you don't have to hand feed like we do to improve your relationship with your dog. Just don't free feed. In other words, stop leaving the bowl, even if you're going to feed kibble, which I do not recommend, but whatever you're feeding him, don't leave the bowl out all the time, or much less all day, but not even for an hour. Put it out at a particular time. You should have a schedule, and leave it out for 10 or 15 minutes and take it away. Don't worry about if your dog doesn't eat much. Don't worry about it. He will not starve himself to death. Believe me, once he's used to the schedule, he'll be eating what he needs to eat in that allotted period of time, once he realizes that it's not just going to be out all the time. So feed him once or twice a day, whatever you want to do, but take the bowl away or take the food away, regardless of how much he eats, and stop free feeding. This way he'll recognize you're the one providing the food and taking the food away, and he'll bond that much more with you as the provider of the food. Another big mistake people make that hurt their relationship with their dog big time is they break the primary rule of dog training, which is you never give a dog a command that you're not willing and able to enforce. So I see people all the time that have no relationship with their dog. They have no control over their dog, and they're giving the dog all these commands that he's ignoring, and they mean nothing to the dog, because that dog has been, it's not the dog's fault, he's been trained to ignore his owners. They've trained, they didn't realize it, but you're always training your dog, especially when you don't realize it. So if you give a command and that dog blows you off and doesn't obey the command, and you have no way to require that command to be fulfilled, then you've just trained the dog to ignore you. That word you were using, if you were given a verbal command, if you were saying sit and the dog's not sitting, then you've trained the dog to not sit when he hears the word sit. You've done the opposite of what you were trying to do. In fact, I don't even give a verbal command until the dog already knows the command. So I'll teach a dog to sit, and there's different techniques you can use to do that. It's real easy. But whether I use a treat or whatever I use, I'll get the dog sitting real well, like a puppy or a young dog that I've just started training. And then I'll start using the word sit once I already know that he's going to sit. This way there's no failure. It's only success. So that's the way you train a dog very easily, is you don't allow him to fail. And you certainly don't give a command that he's going to be able to get away with ignoring, because now you're training the dog that he doesn't have to listen to you. What you say means nothing to him. So always enforce every single command that you give your dog. If you allow your dog to get away with it, then you're training him to do the opposite of what you want. And that's not going to help your relationship with your dog. He's not going to have any respect for you. He's not going to understand what you want him to do, and he's not going to follow your commands.